The only difference is that I got the gasket on the inside right here, and the gasket did protrude a little bit, and I didn't think it was hitting. I try first with taking off the lid on the other side and see what's been, if it's something there. Otherwise I need to take it out again. But I'll show you at this point how a balance shaft is working. And as you can see right here, you got two big holes. There's like this is a weight. It adds up on the balance shaft's weight. So this is the light side, and this is the hole. And this is the light side. It goes down right here. No, this is the light side now. It goes right down here. This is the drive for the water pump. Why is it? Take that aluminium donk again. Where do I put it? Right there. I need to take it apart again, but this is just for showing you guys. It hits something. I think it's the gasket is hit in the middle of the shaft actually, not in the weights. Like here it's, and the shaft isn't perfectly straight as it is a, and it might hit this screw right there also. Yeah, I remember I needed to grind that down earlier, so I might need to do that again. Yeah. Let's just. Yeah, whatever. This is the light side. That means the heavy side is going that way. And the crank has a light side and a heavy side also that has some certain weight to it. Now the light side is upwards on the crank as I'm pulling the rod straight upwards. This is for compensating the weight of the piston a little bit. But you cannot fully balance it away without balance shaft. There. And now I'll set a marking. The light side is straight up. Right there. It is large cogs, so you cannot place them very wrong. As you see, right here is a marking. And on this one, it should be a marking also, but maybe I laced. No, I used it the other direction. I have turned the wheel around, or not the wheel, the sprocket. This one is marked, so I can mark this one. This isn't important anyway, but I can mark it just for the sake of it, because using it in another engine. This is the light side of this one, and the heavy side is thrown. It goes separate directions, and what it's doing, it actually, you're balancing the weight of the piston and the weight of the piston, complete piston with ring and clips and bearing and half the rod and wrist pin to a certain percentage of what you want. And then you get that balance in a straight line where the cylinder moves up and down or front to forward or whatever the direction is. You can balance that to a certain percent. You can balance it fully also, but it won't work. I won't explain why. But if you balance it to say 50%, you got these vibrations in different directions. And let's say you balance it in this case for 100%. Up and down. By doing that, you still have some imbalance that when the heavy side of the crank is going forwards and backwards. You got this motion of the engine also. You catch me? And by that you can cancel out that balance with the balance shaft going the other direction. So when the crank is throwing its counterweights, in this case, let's put them 90 degree. I need to put that marking straight to the side rearwards, like that. When it has rotated clockwise, it's throwing the weights rearwards. You can get the balance shaft to throw weight forwards at the same time. And this actually is working all the way around in every direction. That weight that is not balanced in the balance shaft, the crankshaft, is possible to cancel out with the balance shaft. Did you follow me? The weight, the unbalanced weight of the crankshaft is possible to take out with the balance shaft. So when this upwards and downwards, you can balance it to a certain percent with the piston and get it in the working. But you can never back and forth. You need either, otherwise you need a 90 degree twin. You can balance those to cancel out each other's. Thereby many twins were 90 degrees, and the actual old American V8s and Mercedes and everyone V8s is a 90 degree angle. V12s is 60 degree because of this, but they are 6 cylinders, so they can use another setup. So we just focus on this one, not complicate it too much. So in this case, with not having a balance shaft, you can never take away all the imbalance of the crankshaft. You can get it acceptable within reason, though you can sit on the bike without hurting yourself in the fingers and booty. But doing this, you can almost get it perfect. And why I did this is because this engine, when I had it in 212 cc, I had a dynoid over 70 rear wheel horsepower, actually 74 as best, but several times above 70 and some 68, 69. They were often 71, 72, but 74.3 were the record on the wheel. That's above 80 in the engine on the crankshaft. And I revved it, it gave that power at 12,600 to about 12,900 RPM. And it rattled a lot. The chassis on the bike just cracked and the pipes cracked and I chased problems. So I added this balance shaft, but I lost power with it, a couple of horses. But the engine ran really smooth. In this case now, I have reverted back to 72 stroke and 250 cc. I will try with a balance shaft, but it will not be properly balanced. I will try just for fun's sake. But I can delete it, just take away the internals right here and run without it, because I can use the KX250's original balance factor and use that, because I won't rev it much above 9,000. Peak power will be about 8.9, maybe 9,000, and I'll rev it. Let's say I'll put the rev limiter at 9.5, 9.7, somewhere in that region. So now I'm having the let's see, maybe I thought wrong right here. Now I'm having the rod play running backwards. I got the heavy side of the crank forward and I got the heavy side of the axle forward. So I need to have the heavy side of the crank facing rearwards, as I do right now, as the crank is going forwards, the wrist pin. Right here, then I will make, not there, next, where is it, next? I haven't rotated it perfectly, probably. I will do this again. I need to align it with the right there, and it should be a little bit more right there, and this should point about there. And now heavy forwards, and on the crank heavy backwards. 90 degrees from that would be following this point right about there. Then I can put the sprocket, not the sprocket, the gear. It's almost aligned now. So there, marking against marking. Why doesn't it move down now then? There. See, now they follow each other. And now we can see I need to take this apart again, of course, but I'll do it for now. It is something hitting inside there, so the crank will turn a little bit rough, as for now. But I'll try to turn it anyways for you guys. I need a bolt that I had earlier. Put that one in here. And I'll just turn it with the pliers. This shaft, maybe I need to redo it, but it's aligned with the bearing in the casing, so it's kind of sloppy right now. But can you see? Let's see if you can see. Yeah, you can see this. I'm trying to aim the camera right now. And now I will turn the crank forwards. No, I'll actually do it backwards, but it is the same, just in the other direction. You get my... when doing it forwards, I will untighten this one. So I'll just do it. See, are you able to see it right there? You can see now I'm turning. Now I have the heavy weight right there facing forwards on the crank and rearwards on the pulley. The weights on the balance shaft is the same. You cannot set the sprocket right here, and to the shaft it is by a double pin. You cannot set it wrong. The wrong you can is between these two. And keep on turning it. Now the heavy weight is straight upwards. No. Oh wait, did I think wrong? The heavy weight is straight upwards. Now this is also straight upwards. Forget a little bit what I said about that angularity is all same all around. This weight adds to the crank in this case. And now the heavy part is moving backwards. And this one's forward. So it only cancels out the forward and backwards imbalances. It cannot cancel out up and down. So that weight is added to the crankshaft. So, well, that's a little bit, I need to think about that. I won't go into that. That's the balance factor you need to alter to get them to work with each other instead of against each other. So probably I should lighten the big end a little bit if using a standard crankshaft. But in this case, maybe I thought about this earlier, the rod is longer, so it's heavier. So the light end of the crankshaft in this case is heavier. It is 5 or 6 years ago since I mocked around with this engine. I can't remember everything, but probably I did it that way. And however, as again, the weight that's thrown around with the countershaft cancels out the weight of the crank in forwards and rearwards motion. Not equally around, as I said earlier. So delete that thought. Just up and down. Yeah, I'll try to see what's rubbing inside right here. Yeah, I will probably make this a two-part series of assembling this engine. So this is Saturday, and I'll probably post a little bit shortly, a couple of days, maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday, I don't know, when I've found the issue why it's rubbing inside. It's probably the gasket, because I never had any gasket